Perth and Santa's relationship is full of challenges, with insecurity and trust issues on one side and the need for freedom on the other side. Perth is on the constant search while Santa craves stability and emotional depth. Can Santa break through Perth's restless nature and bring him home? Let's find out together. Hello stars, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Beatrice, I'm an astrologer and also a BL fan, and today I'm going to talk about the relationship between Perth and Santa. We all love them as a couple in perfect 10-liners, but their relationship in real life is a lot more challenging, as you will see in a few minutes. I would like to know your opinion after watching the video, because I believe you will be as surprised as I was when I analyzed their horoscope. If you've watched my other videos about Omnanon, Skainani, First Kotang and more, you know that I always start with the individual birth charts before moving over to the relationship horoscope, because the natal chart reveals what a person looks for in a partner, how they act in relationships, and so on. So let's start with Santa's birth chart. He was born on the 5th of November 2003. Santa is often seen as a ball of sunshine, as if he had no worries in this world, but let me tell you that he is actually a very sensitive person. He feels everything deeply, even if he doesn't always show it on the outside. Water is the predominant element in his chart, which means emotions guide much of what he does, especially in love and relationships. Water signs are known for being sensitive, intuitive, and emotionally connected. The problem is he doesn't have much earth in his chart, which means he may struggle at times to feel grounded or secure, especially when life gets too intense or unpredictable. I will tell you more about his relationships in a bit, but first I want to mention something else. Since I'm already looking at his chart, I want to share that he has the potential to become a superstar. In his natal chart, he has some so-called aspect patterns that indicate that. Some of them are rare, and having them all at once is even rarer. He has a grand trine in water signs overlapping with a minor grand trine, also called talent triangle. Together they form a working triangle. There's also a kite in his birth chart, and a cradle containing two talent triangles. I would need to know his exact birth time to see details about the areas of life that are influenced positively, but even without that, I can say that he is meant to be a successful person. His sun, representing him and his personality, gets a lot of positive influences, and that will help him throughout his life. Moreover, Santa has Lilith at 29 degrees in Taurus, a powerful and intense placement. The 29th degree is the last in a zodiac sign and often shows a turning point or karmic theme. Lilith represents the wild, instinctive side of a person, the part that refuses to be controlled or silenced. In Taurus, this raw energy expresses itself through the body, the senses, and the physical world. Taurus is also connected, amongst others, to things related to the mouth, like singing and eating. Santa has natural talents in music, art, design, dancing, or anything that involves touch, beauty, and expressing himself using his body. He might also be a good cook. Lilith forms some challenging aspects that indicate Santa might feel torn between doing things his own way and seeking approval or connection. He may resist rules or expectations, especially in his career. And this is exactly what he should do, because in his work, Santa shines when he's allowed to follow his own rhythm and vision. He has a highly creative and innovative mind. He might come up with ideas or artistic expressions that are completely new, surprising, or even disruptive in the best way. He has the potential to be ahead of his time, to blend beauty with vision, and to challenge norms in art or self-expression. He may need time to find his voice, but when he does, he can create something truly unique, something that challenges, inspires, and lasts. He just has to be a bit careful while doing all this. It's important for him to stay grounded, to not trust everything other people say, and to check facts before committing to big projects or collaborations. I hope you didn't mind the digression, but I was so excited when I saw this in his chart that I had to share it with you. Now let's see what his horoscope says about relationships. Santa's sun is in Scorpio, a sign known for being intense, private, and deeply loyal. Scorpio people love with all their heart, but they also need to trust fully before they let someone in. Once they do, their love is powerful and unshakable. One more thing about people with the sun in Scorpio: they are very possessive and jealous. Since his sun makes strong connections to Mars and Saturn, two important planets for action and responsibility, he has a serious, almost protective side in love. Mars, the planet of desire, is in Pisces, another water sign, so Santa doesn't just want passion, he wants a spiritual and emotional connection too. He's the kind of person who loves in quiet ways, but with great depth. He's often drawn to people who are kind, gentle, and a little mysterious. Because of the grand trine in water signs, Sun in Scorpio, Mars in Pisces, and Saturn in Cancer, he has a natural flow when it comes to emotions. This is a special triangle in astrology that brings harmony, and it helps him express love with understanding and compassion. He may come across as calm and steady in relationships, even when he's feeling a storm inside. But he's also very loyal, very patient, and gives everything when he cares for someone. His sun also touches Chiron and Jupiter in a helpful way. Chiron is an asteroid that shows where we've been hurt, but also where we can heal others. Jupiter is the planet of growth and luck. So Santa is likely someone who grows through emotional experiences, even painful ones. He might be the type of partner who helps others through their hard times because he knows what it feels like to hurt. He might attract people who are going through something, and he becomes their calm and sunshine in the storm. Still, love isn't easy for him. His sun clashes with Neptune in Aquarius, Neptune being the planet of dreams, illusions, and fantasy. This can sometimes make love confusing or unclear. He might fall for someone who isn't quite what they seem, or he might put a partner on a pedestal, imagining more than what's really there. This shows that while he craves deep connection, he needs to watch out for getting lost in fantasy or giving too much of himself too quickly. His Venus, the planet of love, is in Sagittarius, a fire sign. This gives a fun twist to his emotional nature. Sagittarius is adventurous, curious, and values freedom. So even though Santa feels a lot, he also doesn't want to feel trapped. He's attracted to people who have a playful spirit, who love learning, travel, or talking about life in deep or funny ways. He himself is also playful when it comes to relationships. But that doesn't mean that he's unstable. His Venus is next to Juno, the asteroid that represents commitment. This tells us that deep down he wants a long-lasting relationship and a real partner, someone who challenges him mentally but also stays loyal. He might be drawn to people who are wild, different, or unpredictable, but at the same time he is unsure if he can really trust them. It's like a part of him wants deep emotional safety, while the other part is tempted by the thrill of something new or forbidden. Santa's Mercury, the planet of thoughts and communication, is in Scorpio too, which means he speaks with intensity. He's not much into small talk. He likes real, deep conversations. His mind is sharp, but he can also hold on to the past, since Mercury is joined with the South Node, a point that shows what we're familiar with or used to. This may mean that he tends to repeat certain patterns in love or attracts people who feel familiar, even if they're not good for him. The key for him is to move toward the qualities of the North Node, what his soul is here to learn, which lies in Taurus. This means learning to slow down, trust, and build love steadily instead of diving too fast in emotional storms. When it comes to attraction, Santa is drawn to people who are emotionally rich, imaginative, and kind. He might be especially pulled in by dreamy, artistic types or those who seem a little magical or mysterious. He likes people who feel deeply just like him, but also those who can bring lightness and joy to his serious heart. Physically, he might be especially attracted to beautiful ankles or calves. These areas might even be where he likes to be touched most. In friendship and romance, Santa values loyalty, deep talks, and emotional honesty. He may not trust easily, but once he does, he's all in. What he really needs is someone who can match his emotional depth, but also help him stay grounded and bring some laughter and peace into his world. Moving over to Perth, who was born on the 20th of March 2001. He is someone who lives with a constant sense that something is just out of reach. All the planets in his birth chart gather on one side, and in astrology, this usually means a person focuses deeply on one part of life but often feels like another part is missing, like a puzzle with one last piece that won't fit. Even when things seem to go well, there's a quiet feeling inside Perth that something could be better or more complete. That feeling might push him to always keep searching for the right person or to feel restless even when someone really cares about him. Planets in fire and air signs are strong in his chart, which makes him full of energy, ideas, and excitement. Fire signs are bold, passionate, and driven. Air signs are all about communication, friendship, and thinking fast. What's missing is earth energy, the part that brings calm, stability, and patience. Because of that, Perth can make friends and fall in love quickly, jumping into things full of hope, but he might have trouble slowing down or staying with someone when things feel too ordinary or slow. He needs excitement, movement, and a bit of magic to stay interested. His sun is at the very end of Pisces, but if he was born later in the day, it might actually be in Aries. So Perth has pieces of both signs in his personality. Pisces is sensitive, dreamy, and deeply emotional. Aries is bold, brave, and always ready to take action. This mix makes Perth both soft and strong. He feels things deeply, but he also wants to take charge and move forward. Sometimes this can confuse him, especially in love. He may want closeness, then space. Or he may fall for someone quickly, then feel unsure once things get serious. His sun is in a difficult angle with Chiron, an asteroid that shows old emotional wounds. Chiron in Sagittarius shows wounds around freedom, beliefs, or being misunderstood. This can make love tricky because even when someone wants to get close, both might secretly fear they won't really understand him. He may leave things off or avoid talking about what really hurts. But underneath, he craves a partner who sees past the surface and helps him heal that part of him that feels different or unseen. Perth's moon, which shows how he feels and connects emotionally, is in Aquarius. This means he needs space in relationships. He's someone who needs a partner to also be a friend, someone who respects his need to think, explore, and who doesn't want to change him. Perth doesn't always show his feelings right away, but they are there, just hidden under his cool, thoughtful style. His Mercury, the planet of thinking and communication, is in Pisces. That gives him a creative, dreamy way of thinking and speaking. But Mercury is clashing with Jupiter, the planet of growth and big ideas. This can make Perth talk a lot about dreams or future plans, but sometimes without all the details figured out. In love, he might say beautiful things or imagine the perfect romance, but it's important for him to stay grounded in what's really possible. Venus, the planet of love, is a big deal in his chart. First, because Venus was retrograde when he was born, meaning that it seemed to move backwards. It makes Perth more private or cautious in love. He might think about past relationships a lot or take a long time to trust someone new. But when he loves, it's deep, real, and loyal. Yet he will almost never show publicly when he loves someone. Expressing his feelings is hard for him, and if he does that, it's something just between him and his partner. His Venus is in Aries, the boldest fire sign. He likes people who are confident, a little daring, and full of life. Someone who keeps him guessing and doesn't hold back. Venus is right next to Juno, the asteroid that shows what kind of partner he's looking for long term. This combo means he's attracted to strong, passionate people who don't need to be told what to do. He wants a teammate in love, someone who meets him with the same energy and intensity. What's beautiful in his chart is that Venus and Juno are connected in a helpful way to Mars and Pluto, which sit together in Sagittarius. Mars is the planet of passion and action, Pluto is the planet of deep transformation and intensity. In Sagittarius, these two planets bring him strong desires, a wild sense of adventure, and a love for freedom. This connection shows he can have very deep and passionate relationships, but only with someone who keeps things interesting and inspires him to grow. Perth doesn't like boring relationships. He needs fire and depth. He's attracted to people who are smart, adventurous, maybe a little rebellious, and definitely not afraid to be themselves and to explore life. He wants someone who's excited about new experiences, who loves to talk about big ideas, and who doesn't try to control him. Physically, he is especially attracted to beautiful hips and thighs. Those might be his favorite areas to touch or be touched. But there's another twist. He has Lilith, a dark point in astrology that shows untamed, raw energy in Aquarius. This gives him an attraction to people who are a bit unusual or outside the box. He likes people who don't follow the rules, don't try to fit in, who speak their minds, and who have a little chaos in them. Finally, his north node, the point that shows his soul's path in this life or his destiny, is in Cancer. This means that even though he's so fiery, free, and fast moving, deep down he's here to learn how to create emotional closeness, safety, and family. Love isn't just about thrills for him. It's about slowly opening his heart, building something real, and learning to stay when things get tough. Even if he falls for people who don't follow the rules, who surprise him, and who help him feel free, what he needs deep down is someone who can also show him that love can be safe, soft, and lasting. Someone who brings him home. As you can see, Santa and Perth have different energies that could lead to both attraction and tension. Whether they are just friends or more, Santa seeks deep emotional connection and trust, valuing loyalty and security. Perth, on the other hand, craves freedom and adventure, which might make Santa feel insecure, jealous, or worried. This difference could create trust issues, with Santa fearing that Perth might stray or not stay as invested. However, Perth also needs stability deep down, so there is still a chance for them to find common ground. If they can understand and respect each other's needs, Santa learning to give some space and Perth learning to offer reassurance, they might create a strong dynamic bond that helps them grow together. That was just a conclusion after looking at their birth charts. But there is another, more powerful method to find out details about their compatibility, a comparison of their individual horoscopes called synastry. This is their synastry chart, with Santa being the inner circle and Perth the outer one. Santa and Perth's connection is filled with both harmony and challenges, which can shape their relationship, whether as friends or something more. Perth's sun is close to Santa's moon, which creates a strong emotional bond. Santa may feel deeply understood by Perth, as their sun and moon connection shows they get each other's inner world. Perth's sun also forms a supportive aspect to Santa's Venus and Juno. Venus is the planet of love and Juno represents commitment, so this aspect suggests that Perth brings warmth and support to Santa's friendship, romantic, and partnership needs. However, Perth's Lilith squares Santa's sun, which may stir up feelings of intensity or even tension. Lilith represents the wild, untamed part of a person's energy, and this square could bring out some deeper, unresolved issues in Santa. They might have moments where they challenge each other's identity or self-expression. On the other hand, Perth's sun also forms a positive aspect to Santa's Lilith, so Perth might help Santa embrace parts of himself that are usually hidden or repressed, making their connection more transformative. Santa's sun trines Perth's Saturn, which is a solid grounding aspect. Saturn is the planet of discipline and long-term commitment, so Santa might feel safe and supported by Perth, like someone who offers structure and responsibility, despite Perth being such a free spirit. However, there are also challenging angles between other parts of their charts, such as Santa's sun square Perth's Neptune. Neptune represents dreams and illusions, and this square can lead to misunderstandings or unrealistic expectations between them. Perth might inspire Santa with big ideas, but they both might also feel let down if things don't match their imagination. Santa's Mercury, the planet of communication, squares Perth Uranus, astrology's rebel, which could bring exciting and unpredictable conversations. While this can be fun, it may also lead to moments of miscommunication where they don't quite get each other's point of view. Additionally, Perth Uranus squares Santa's north node. The North Node represents the soul's purpose, and Uranus brings change and unexpected events, so their relationship might push Santa to step out of his comfort zone, challenging him to grow in unexpected ways. Perth's Venus and Juno are in harmony with Santa's Pluto, the planet of transformation, which is a very powerful and intense connection. This could make their bond feel very deep and transformative, possibly bringing out their more intense sides. However, there are also squares to Saturn and Chiron, showing that Perth's approach to relationships, love, and commitment might feel a bit too demanding or challenging for Santa, especially when it comes to healing old wounds. Santa's Venus and Juno are opposite Perth's Jupiter, which can create some tension in how they express affection and their need for expansion. While Santa may want stability and connection, Perth might focus on growth and big picture thinking, which could feel a bit overwhelming for Santa at times. Additionally, both their Mars and Pluto square each other's Jupiter, which indicates a passionate, dynamic energy in their connection, but also the potential for clashes in their desires or goals. On a more positive note, Perth Jupiter trines Santa's Neptune, which can bring a sense of shared dreams, spiritual connection, and creativity. This aspect could help them see life through similar lenses, especially when it comes to their goals and growth. It could also bring a push to their acting or music career when they work together. Lastly, Santa's Saturn connects to Perth's North Node, which suggests that Santa might play a key role in helping Perth fulfill his soul's purpose. However, there's also some tension between Santa's Chiron, the wounded healer, and Perth's North Node, indicating that their relationship might bring up some deep unresolved emotional issues, which could either heal or create frustration, depending on how they handle them. We're getting now to the last part, the composite chart. This is a horoscope of the relationship itself. The composite chart for Santa and Perth shows a relationship that is focused on goals, structure, and responsibilities, but also faces significant challenges. There is a strong emphasis on Capricorn and Aquarius, two signs that are very different from one another. Capricorn is practical, ambitious, and focused on long-term results, while Aquarius is more innovative, idealistic, and values independence. With a lot of planets in Capricorn, this relationship may feel serious, grounded, and somewhat focused on achieving tangible results, which is very good for a business relationship, but it could also feel emotionally distant at times. The composite sun in Capricorn suggests that the core energy of the relationship is centered around hard work, discipline, and creating something stable. There may be a shared sense of purpose, and both partners could find themselves focused on long-term goals. However, the opposition to composite Jupiter in Cancer indicates a tension between this serious, goal-oriented energy and the need for emotional connection and nurturing. Jupiter in Cancer seeks comfort, family, and emotional fulfillment, while the Capricorn Sun craves structure and success. This opposition might create tension between the desire for emotional growth and the necessity to stay grounded in practical responsibilities. Composite Mercury in Capricorn shows that communication between Santa and Perth is serious, thoughtful, and focused on solving problems. They might engage in discussions about their goals and future plans, but this could sometimes feel overly practical or detached from emotions. There's little room for light-hearted or spontaneous conversations, as both might prefer to keep things grounded and structured. Composite Mars is also in Capricorn and adds more ambition to the mix, making the relationship even more focused on practical action. However, Mars in Capricorn opposes Jupiter in Cancer, which again points to a tension between taking action and seeking emotional satisfaction. While Mars wants to be ambitious and achieve things, Jupiter in Cancer longs for emotional comfort and nurturing. This opposition could create clashes where one partner may want to move forward with plans, while the other is more focused on the relationship itself and on creating a safe and nurturing atmosphere. Lilith and Chiron also clash, suggesting that there could be deep wounds related to independence and responsibility in this relationship. The square between Lilith and Chiron indicates that issues of control and responsibility could come up, challenging both of them to confront and heal old emotional wounds. The only truly positive aspect in this composite chart is Venus conjunct Neptune and Juno in Aquarius. Venus is the planet of love, Neptune represents dreams and idealism, and Juno is about commitment and partnership. When these three align in Aquarius, it creates a romantic, dreamy energy that can make the relationship feel special, even otherworldly at times. There is an idealistic, creative connection here which could make both partners feel like they share a unique bond. It's also an indicator that whatever their relationship is, it's built on friendship, communication, and joy of living. However, the dreamy nature of Neptune might also make them prone to unrealistic expectations at times, which can lead to misunderstandings. The composite Saturn, the lord of karma, is conjunct the North Node, which could mean that they have met in a past life and that they were meant to find each other in this life too. It also indicates that the relationship has a strong sense of purpose and destiny. Saturn is the planet of discipline and hard work, while the North Node shows where the relationship needs to grow and evolve. While this aspect can bring a sense of responsibility and commitment, it may also feel like a lot of hard work. The relationship may challenge both Perth and Santa to take on more responsibility and grow in ways that aren't always easy or comfortable. Lastly, composite Pluto conjunct the South Node and opposite the North Node also suggests that there may be karmic or past life energy at play in this relationship. Pluto represents transformation and deep change, while the South Node shows past patterns we need to move beyond. This aspect indicates that the relationship might bring up old emotional issues or unresolved dynamics that need to be released. The opposition to the North Node suggests that these past energies could be holding the relationship back from moving forward into its full potential. Overall, the composite chart for Santa and Perth indicates a relationship that is serious, focused, and goal-oriented, but also one that faces challenges around emotional expression, independence, and responsibility. The positive Venus-Neptune-Juno conjunction brings a romantic, idealistic energy to the relationship, but there are also significant tensions that need to be worked through. If they can find balance between their practical goals and emotional needs, the relationship could evolve into something deeply transformative. I see a deep connection between Perth and Santa, especially revolving around work. But there are also a lot of challenges that are difficult to handle. Of all the horoscopes of BL couples that I've analyzed until now, this is the most challenging one. It was very surprising for me when I saw it because at least from what we are shown, Perth and Santa seem to have a great chemistry. And I'm not saying that this isn't true, but I believe that they have to work very hard to keep it that way. I hope they will be able to manage all the tensions and they will have a lot of success together. If you want better news about your favorite BL ships, please don't miss my next videos about Jungdang and Earth Mix. I promise you that their horoscopes are better, especially that of Earth and Mix. I can't wait to film it and to share it with you. Until the next time, shine bright like the stars.